Hey there, it's Tiyani. Welcome back to another exciting video. Today we are diving into the world of PowerApps component framework to create custom PCF controls validating South African ID numbers in Dynamics 365 or Power Platform. If you're ready to level up your Power Platform game, you are in the right place. But before we get started, remember to smash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. Your support is greatly appreciated. So what exactly is a PCF control and why would you choose it over a standard HTML web resource? It's a great question. PCF stands for PowerApps Component Framework and it's a game changer. With PCF controls, you can craft your own controls using the same framework that powers the entire Power Platform. Whether you are into Canvas apps or model-driven apps, PCF has your back, enhancing the user experience across forms, views, dashboards, and even Canvas app screens. Sometimes out-of-the-box controls just don't cut it. That's where the PCF control comes in. You can build visually appealing, tailor-made components that fit exactly what you need. There are two main types of creating a PCF control, which are field controls and dataset controls. Field controls let you customize how your data displays in individual fields, like turning a simple number into an interactive slider. On the other hand, dataset controls give you the power to transform plain data tables into dynamic interactive graphs. But before PCF controls, we used to develop or create HTML web resources to add custom presentation to our Power Apps forms. But now with PCF controls, you can bundle your code components in a single solution file, seamlessly blending them with other components for a unified user experience. To get started, we need to install Node.js as this is key for our PCF development. Once it's created, create a folder in your work directory or where you want your project to be stored. Now let's open Visual Studio Code to install the Power Platform for Visual Studio Code. Once open, on the toolbar, click on the terminal to bring up the integrated terminal in Visual Studio Code. Go to the Extension tab on the sidebar and search for Power Platform Tools. Make sure to install the official Microsoft extension. I've already installed it on my computer. If you haven't installed it yet, go ahead and install it. I'm just enabling mine since I disabled it. When I type the peg command in the terminal, it should bring some details about the version and other usage key terms like what is displayed on the screen. What this means is that it is installed successfully. There are multiple ways you can install the Power Platform CLI on your computer. Let's start with the terminal. I will copy the command straight from the Microsoft documentation site. Open and paste the command in the terminal and press enter to start the installation. Now it is installed. When you type in the peg command, it shows you the same thing that you saw earlier when we installed the Power Platform CLI using the Power Platform tools in Visual Studio. The last option is using an installer file. Download the Power Apps CLI MSI file from the Microsoft website. Install it using the MSI file you just downloaded. Now we're done setting up the environment. In Visual Studio Code, click on Open and go to the folder we created earlier. Open a new terminal. I'm just going to delete the .vs code setting file for this project. I like my theme to be uniform. Now type the following command to create a PCF control project in the folder we created earlier. I'm gonna use the field template to create my control. Once the command is done executing, the project is going to be created in the folder. After creating the project, we need to fix the node modules. If you go to the tsconfig.js file, you will see the error. Let's go ahead and fix this. In the terminal, type npm install and run the command by pressing the enter button. It's going to take a couple of seconds. Notice the error is gone after the command has ran successfully, and the errors are also gone in the index.ts file. If you don't like typing in commands, you can use the PCF Builder plugin in XRM Toolbox. Let's install it to get started with it. Open the XRM Toolbox, click on the Tools tab and search for PCF Builder. Cool, as you can see, it's not installed. Click on the Tools library to install it. In the search box, type PCF to filter the list. Check the PCF Builder plugin and install it. Cool, it's installed now. Go back to the Tools tab and you will see it there. Click on it to open the plugin. Let's create a PCF custom control using the PCF Builder plugin. In the control location, type or choose the folder we created earlier and type in the other details in the fields in the code component details section. Click on create. It looks like I've got an error. I forgot the additional packages field. I'll put the description while I'm at it. Now click on the create button again. What this is doing, it's executing the same commands we wrote in VS Code to create the project. Once it's done, you can click on the Open in VS Code button to open the newly created project in Visual Studio Code. Let's build and test the new project. Click on Build to see if the creation of the project went well. As you can see on the terminal pane, it built successfully. Now click on Test to see the preview of the control. Great, as you can see, it previews fine and you don't see anything because we haven't written any code for our control. Let's write the first piece of code for our control. I'm creating a new folder for my style sheets. As this is a simple control, there is not much in the CSS file. I'm just going to write code similarly as I would write using a web resource or an HTML web resource. So there is nothing special here. The biggest advantage of a PCF control, it integrates well with the form context. So we can write or call the web API or SDK functions and the control loads the same time with everything else on the form. There seems to be an error with the event listener class. Open the .eslint.rc.json file, put in the following line in the global section of the file. When you go back to the index.ts file, the line where we had the error is now fixed. Type in npm run build command to see if all is good. The build is successful, as you can see on the screen. Let's go back to the PCF Builder to build and test our code. Don't mind the deprecation warning. We can fix that later. It's not something that's gonna break our PCF control. It's just warning us that we are using deprecated modules. After clicking the test button on the PCF Builder, our control is showing up and we can test if it's working fine. Let's put in some random South African ID numbers for testing. You can see validation messages under the text box. Let's go back to the code and change the color and error message so it looks better. Build and test the changes. Nice, the changes have been applied as we coded them. Now that we have our PCF control developed, let's create a solution so we can add it to the solution for easier export and import into different environments. On the PCF Builder, under the Dataverse solution details, check using existing solution and select the solution we created. Click on the export and add control button. This is going to add the PCF control to the solution. Once done, we can build and deploy. In the project directory, you will see a new solution folder. When you open it, you will see that it was built from your PCF control. As you can see, there is a solution zip file. The PCF Builder uses this file to publish to the environment. Click on deploy so the file gets imported into our environment. It is now published successfully. Let's open the solution in Power Platform to see our PCF control. As you can see, our solution is no longer blank and it has our PCF control. We are only left with the last step to add it to the form and test the PCF control in our model-driven app. In the Form Designer in Power Platform, select the field you want to change the control to our new PCF control. In this case, it's the ID number. Click on Components and search for it if you don't see it in the list. And select our PCF control. Click on Add, and there we have it. We have added our PCF control to the form. Click on the Save and Publish button so we can have it available to our users. Let us test our control in our model-driven apps form. As you can see, it is working fine as expected. And that's it, folks. You've successfully crafted a custom PCF control and unleashed its power in your environment. If this tutorial got you excited, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, happy coding.